Hey friends, and welcome back to our channel, or welcome if you're new here. If you know anything about Utah, then you know how spectacular our outdoor activities here are, both in the winter months as well as the summer. And if you know anything about Sloan and I, then you know how much we love to hike. Live virtually anywhere in Utah, and you are at most 15 minutes away from a hiking trail, which is one major reason why we love it here.
Today we're going to show you 5 of our own favorite hikes and tell you a little bit more about the area so you can decide which ones are going to be best for you. We've got some easy hikes that are geared towards everyone of all ages and levels, and some more difficult hikes for some more of the experienced hikers. Now let's just a small sampling of all the hiking trails that we have here in Utah so you can expect a lot more videos to come in the future. And if you are interested in some of the trails here in our hometown of Ogden, then go ahead and check out the video that we did on that a little while ago to see if you would like to check out some of those trails. All right guys, so here are 5 hiking trails that we love here in Utah so far, because we're always adding new ones to our list.
If you want to know everything about living, eating, sleeping, working, and playing in northern Utah, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in northern Utah.
We are Sloan and Kim Peterson here at the Peterson Group, and we've been in the real estate business for 10 years, and every day we help people just like you looking to buy, sell, relocate, and invest in northern Utah. We absolutely do love helping you. Whether you're thinking about moving here in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All of our information is in that description box below, so we can help you make a smooth transition to northern Utah.
Okay, so these will be in no particular order because honestly, it's really hard to pick a top 5 here in Utah. We have so many beautiful trails. And Sloan and I really try to hit a different trail as often as we can because there are just so many different ones to explore. Now first we're going to talk about what might be my favorite trail, and that's the Wind Caves. The Wind Caves are located up Logan Canyon, and now all trails has the Wind Caves hike as an easy to moderate hike. But personally, I would say unless you're an avid hiker, it leans more towards that moderate end. Just because it does have a good elevation climb pretty much throughout the entire trail. Total, the trail is 4 miles out and back, so it's another one of the shorter ones, but from the very beginning, you get spectacular views the entire time you are hiking. The trail is wider with no real drop-offs, so if you are scared of heights, like Sloan here is.
Yeah, that one did not scare me. It's good.
Then this is a great one for you. The hike leads to what's known as the Wind Caves, which are arched rock formations that lead to some incredibly stunning views. And we even saw bats that live in the caves, as well as a baby squirrel, so also some really fun wildlife to spot. Now this trail is open year-round like most of Utah trails, but it's not really shaded for most of it. So consider that in our super hot summer months, you may want to go earlier or later in the day to avoid peak hot hours. However, Logan is actually slightly cooler than a lot of Utah because it is at a higher elevation, so just consider that. And dogs are welcome, but they must be on a leash like almost all Utah trails.
And just so you know, if you are scared of hikes, the last part by the Wind Caves, that's where it gets a little sketchy. Not sketchy as far as the trail goes, but I stay away from the edges out there. But beautiful views, the whole track, the whole time, like Kim was saying, definitely one of my favorite trails as well. All right, so next on our list is going to be a hike called Strong's Canyon. So now the actual hike is gonna be off 36th Street in Ogden, and it's a 3.6 miles out and back trail, but we've actually go through a Gibbs Loop trail, and then we climb up to Strong's Canyon, circle back through the loop, which makes it closer to about 4 miles out and back. In our opinion, this is the prettier way to go. So Strong's Canyon is considered a moderate to difficult hike, as there is a good incline and also a lot of scrambling, which is climbing over rocks. The really cool thing about Strong's Canyon is that it's constantly changing. In the winter, you can climb with spikes. A lot of the river that runs through it is frozen over, so you can just climb it up very easily. In the spring, you're actually hiking through a small river, and I say small loosely, it's a decent one, but you do hike on the rocks up through it, which is really cool. In the summer, it's gonna be absolutely dry, which is really cool. It's probably one of Kim's favorite times to hike that. And then of course in the fall time, it's gonna be absolutely stunning with the most gorgeous yellow, orange, and red colors all around through the leaves. It's a really cool hike. If you're feeling really froggy, you can go through Gibbs Loop, up to Strong's Canyon, and then over into Waterfall Canyon, which is going to be 2 canyons total. But honestly, we did that once, and Kim did want to kill me when we were done. I kept saying it's a half mile more, and she wasn't realizing that it was a half mile more through a canyon pass. So yeah, happy wife, happy life, right? So doing it that way is gonna make it closer to, 7.5 to 8 miles, depending on, what you do there. And you're going to go up, like I said, to 2 canyon climbs. So it is a decently difficult hike. Whatever way you do decide to go, Strong's Canyon is for sure one of the most beautiful hikes and one of our favorites here in Ogden. And the cool thing about it too, is not a lot of people seem to know about it. So don't tell anybody. I know we're making a video about this, but when we go that way, we see maybe 1 or 2 hikers the entire way. You have a waterfall stream up the whole way, so it sounds amazing if you like that piece there. And even though it's close to the city, you do feel like, it's like you're not even close to the city at all, which is really cool.
I think that it's such a local secret because quite frankly, the first time we went on the trail, I was like, this cannot possibly be the trail because there isn't an actual dedicated trail. You are truly climbing up a river. You're climbing up rocks and river and everything, but that is the actual Strong's Canyon Trail. And so I think most people end up turning back because there's no way. And the first time Sloan took me up it, I thought he was truly trying to kill me. But now, like Sloan said, it is one of our favorite hikes.
And another one, if you're not scared of heights, if you are scared of heights, this is a good one for you because there's no cliff drop-offs really the whole way.
Yeah, so the next hike we want to mention is Desolation Lake. Now this is one we did fairly recently, and this hike is in Salt Lake at Big Cottonwood Canyon. So this one probably is one of the most challenging hikes we've ever done, but we had to add it on here because the end result is amazing. This is another one that has multiple modes to get there, but the way we went was 7.8 miles out and back, and I think that's one of the shorter routes. You can also go through Dog Lake to get there, but I believe that adds on at least an additional mile. This hike is a straight climb all the way to the lake, and I mean straight, all the way up. The bonus is that coming back, it's all downhill, but the hike up is quite brutal. However, you end up at the most beautiful lake with the clearest water, and you can even backpack in and camp near the lake, something Sloan's still trying to convince me to do.
I'm working
if you
on
like
it.
that kind of thing.
I think I'm gonna get through to that.
Do you think? Okay,
think
well,
so.
We'll see. Next time we circle back with you guys, let's see if that happened. But the one thing I will say was that it was absolutely freezing at the lake. And we were up there just a couple of weeks ago, so end of June timeframe, and it was still like 40 degrees at the lake. It's such a beautiful spot though, and perfect to bring lunch and relax after the grueling climb, but just make sure you bring a sweatshirt with you. Another thing to know is that dogs and swimming of any kind are prohibited on this trail because it is part of the protected Big Cottonwood Canyon watershed. So if you enjoy hiking with your dog, this one might not be for you.
Yeah, and honestly, this hike is definitely in my top 5, one of my favorite hikes ever. My calves hurt for like 3 days. Like I was starting to feel like, did my calves rip or something? So we are decently avid hikers, right? But this one definitely take it slow, make sure you're prepared for it because it's about 500 feet every mile of elevation, which might not be a lot for super avid hikers. Even us being more moderate hikers, it did kick our butts and I couldn't walk for about 3 days. So totally worth it though. Not trying to scare you from that trail. It's not bad. Beautiful trail. I love the lake at the top and I definitely am thinking about camping there, right? Pending Kim hiking up there with me.
Yeah.
All right, so another one of our favorite hikes is a hike that's called Elephant Rock and it is located in Bountiful, Utah. This is a 6.8 out and back hike, and it is considered an easy to moderate hike. I would say closer to high or low moderate anyway. It's not too bad of an elevation game. You have these nice switchbacks and then it kind of just rolls the rest of the way. A lot of the trail is wide and easy to walk. And the fun thing about this trail is it has a lot of different routes that can break off kind of in the middle from the main trail. And if you're a mountain biker, you can really go a long way because it continues around into a loop and goes, I want to say, I don't know, 20 plus miles. It's really long.
Yeah.
If you stop at the rock itself, make sure that you take a picture of the beautiful views. There's a bench that sits right there looking outside the valleys, and it is just one of the most beautiful views ever. In the winter time, you can hike up this trail as well. People do a lot of snowshoeing, and someone even decorates the tree kind of right by there, like as a Christmas tree. And I'm not gonna lie, like there's a cliff right to the side of it, so whoever's doing that is definitely got some balls because that's crazy. But I love seeing it, and so definitely try hiking up in the winter time as well.
And I was gonna say this trail does have some high areas where it does overlook a cliff. So again, Sloan is afraid of heights and he was able to do it, But I mean, if that's a severe issue for you, then just consider that this trail does have some of those.
Yeah, it does have a few. This one didn't sketch me out a ton though, so it's a very small area. Really by that bench, it kind of it does that a little bit. But you're so far back to where I have a pretty good fear of heights too, so it's not just like a little one, it's pretty extreme. But this one just sketched me out a tiny bit at the top, but not a lot. So definitely still considered it if you do have a height phobia. So this is a super busy trail though, so be sure to get there very early for two reasons. In the summertime, it can get pretty hot there because some of it's shaded, but then it does expose you up top on the ridges. And if it gets hot up there, you don't have any protection at all, and it will fry you up pretty quickly. So the other thing you want to know about not getting there early is it says 6.8 miles, right? But the parking lot's super small. I think it could fit like 8 cars in it, and then everyone parks down the street. We had to walk an additional, 0.7 miles there, like to the trail and then back, right? So we actually were close to 8.25 by the time we got off of this hike, and half of that, like over a mile of that, was just walking from our car to the trailhead. So it does get busy, and then there's a lot of mountain bikers as well that come through there, and people on their like hoverboards or whatever you call those in the mountains. I'm not quite hip with that yet, but that can make it pretty dusty as well. So when you're there earlier, sometimes you beat a lot of that, and the trail, stays, not as dusty. You stay cool, and then you get up there before the long, what would you call it, like parking, I guess. So you have to walk more.
Okay, so wrapping up, our top 5 current favorite trails is Sardine Peak. Now this trail is in Huntsville, off from Snow Basin, which is a ski resort, and ski resorts have some of the best hiking trails, and this for one is sure one of our favorites. It is an 8.6 out and back trail, and while it does have a pretty hefty elevation gain, a lot of it is towards the end right at the peak, and the rest is distributed pretty evenly, so you never really feel like you're climbing really steep terrain. There's an overlook of the Ogden Valley about 2/3 of the way up to the peak, so even if you decide to forego the peak and loop back down, you still get some pretty phenomenal views. The view from the peak of Pine View, however, is unmatched and worth the push at the end to see the gorgeous blue waters from high above. This was a fairly shaded trail, and because you are at a higher altitude since you're at the ski resort, it was nice and cool even on a 95-degree day. It's definitely one we'd recommend and would say it's at the moderate to hard skill level.
And if you do decide to climb the peak part of it, just know that last half mile is extremely sketchy. Like, I'm not even lying. Like, I was getting jello legs. So if you're scared of heights, again, the whole hike is amazing. You won't really feel, scared at all. But that last half mile, when you're going straight to the peak, it probably is like 300 feet just straight up, and you have a cliff and a single track trail on the side. So that part is not for the faint of heart for sure, but the whole hike is super beautiful.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend. And for mountain bikers, you can actually loop around the other way and then continue and have it be like a 20+ mile type ride.
And also there are really great restaurants at Snow Basin, so have a hike, go and eat. There's nothing better than that.
Well, friends, we hope you enjoyed this video and got to see some of the natural beauty that Utah has to offer. Again, this is really just a small snippet of all the trails we're going to take you on. And if you have any questions or want us to film or talk about any specific trails in the area, let us know. We'd love to film or do a future video for you on that area.
We hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Picking where you'll call home is an important decision, and we would love to help you make that smooth transition here to Utah. If you're looking to purchase in the northern Utah area, we would love to help you out. Give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and until next time, we're keeping it real. Estate.